Well, the leader of the UK Independence Party, Nigel Farage, is in our Tunbridge Wells studio to speak to us now. Good afternoon to you. You've probably heard Damien Green there saying the system's actually getting better and, as David Cameron promised, more efficient. What's your reaction?
Well, Damien Green can try and spin, but he's not as good at it as Peter Mandelson was. The fact is, Keith Vaz has put his finger on it. This is an amnesty for an incredible 161,000 people, and it represents, for Damien Green and for David Cameron, a huge U-turn. I mean, don't forget that in the debates leading up to the last general election, Cameron made the point that the Labour government had given amnesties, that the Lib Dems were in favour of giving further amnesties, but that he thought it was a very bad idea, and yet his government has done it. And of course, what this does, it sends a message out to the whole of the world. It sends a message out to the criminal gangs and the traffickers. It says, come on down, Britain's open, you can come here illegally, after a few years we'll make you legal, and you can then enjoy our social security system. That's the message that it sends out.
OK, you mentioned Keith Vaz there, the Labour MP, of course, chairs the Home Affairs Select Committee. He did also say on BBC Radio 4 this morning that this is an administration issue. It's not a political issue. We're not seeing a U-turn in government policy, but there is an administration issue that needs to be changed to meet David Cameron's target.
Well, clearly, to have built up the massive backlog that we did showed that things under the Labour government weren't working at all. But for this government to inherit the problem and then to throw its arms up in the air and say there's nothing we can do, therefore we're going to amnesty every one of these individuals, is not the solution. And we've now had 4 major amnesties over the course of the last 20 years, and this is the country that everybody across Northern Europe is trying to get into. They know we're a soft touch, they know we do nothing about it, and they also know that we have the most generous social security system.
But what we also know, and what we also must be aware of when we're having these kind of conversations, is that when we talk about figures, we're actually talking about people. 161,000 people allowed to stay. It is highly likely that many of those, if not all of them, do have a real case of asylum. No, because in most cases these are people who applied for asylum and were rejected. So they're economic migrants. And I can understand people from poor countries wanting to come here, wanting to try and get work, wanting to use our health service. But the fact is, at a time of rising unemployment in this country, it's about time we started putting the priorities of our own people first. Mr Farage, thank you for your time.
Thank you.